A lot of you are dealing with pressure buildup in the ears. But what if I told you that some of that pressure that's built up in your ears isn't within your control? There is something called atmospheric pressure or barometric pressure. And it happens when there's a change in the weather pattern or the wind currents, and different changes occur in the outside world versus what's going on in our inside world, which is our ears in this sense. A lot of times when there's a storm on the way or there's rain coming, you'll notice a shift in the pressure in the atmosphere. And some of you may be overly sensitive to these atmospheric pressure changes. A lot of you are realizing when you have tinnitus or you have Eustachian Tube Dysfunction or even pulsatile tinnitus, your body becomes sensitive to some things that you never would have been sensitive with. Like, for example, just crumbling up a soda can or crunching a piece of paper or tapping a piece of silverware to a glass or a plate. You're realizing it's firing off your body's chemistry. It's kind of throwing off a lot of things. Well, it's just similar to the same instance with pressure changes. Your body is already in this sense of trying to recover. It's trying to heal. And the slightest little bit of adjustment in the pressure can really fire off a lot of things. And not just air pressure and pressure buildup in the ears and in the middle ear. It can also lead to balance problems. And this is all having to do with something called barometric pressure. Now, I want to talk to you a lot about this because this is something that's not widely discussed. And when you go into a visit, you might not hear about this. We're in a season right now of rain and storms, and that is a true tell that your ear pressure is going to be at its worst. It's not a coincidence that there's a lot of visits right now being calculated for ear pressure problems, ear infection problems, and just ear-related problems in general. It's gone up during this type of season that we're having right now. Between the months of January, February, and even a little bit in March, you'll start to realize these pressure changes are happening quite a bit. You know, it's bad enough that you're dealing with the anxiety and the depression and the anticipation of just doing basic things in life. You're starting to feel hopeless. And now you have to factor in these ear pressure changing moments and how to get this clogging out of my ear and how to minimize this pressure I feel. No one wants to feel a pressure buildup in your head. And I can tell you it's one of the worst feelings. I don't have a ranking for you, but it's high on the list. Now, I'm going to help you get through some of that. Obviously, we can't prevent atmospheric pressure changes. What we can do is minimize the impact that your body goes through while we try to get through this process. Now, today, I have no sensitivity to atmospheric pressure changes at all. Sometimes I can kind of feel that there is a pressure shift because of all those 3 years of struggling with it. It was very intense. So sometimes I'll get that little tiny off balance feeling, but when I realize what it is and I calm myself down, it goes away. So I want to get all of you to that point where you're not going to be immune to everything, but you're going to be aware to everything. You're going to be confident in the process. You're going to be able to get through it more successfully. Some of the things you can do. Now, I'm going to pull out things that you can do where you are, because obviously when it comes to atmospheric pressure, I'm not going to give you a solution to where you got to be at home, where you got to be somewhere, you got to be at a particular location for it to work. I'm going to give you things that you can do wherever you're at, because obviously pressure changes are going to happen all the time because of storms and whatnot. So first thing we want to do is we want to do something called the ear technique. Now that's the EAR technique. It's E for equalize, A for aerate, and R for release. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to pinch your nose, you're going to blow very gently, and then you're going to release. Now, I want all of you to take some practice to do this now. But if you can get in a habit of keeping your pressure, keeping the ears equalized, it's going to help with your balance, and it's going to help minimize the pressure in your ear because it's just building up over time. Another thing that's very simple is if you can get your hands on some lemon, drink warm water, just plain warm water. Now, I know that sounds very basic, but that warm water is going to soothe not just your ears, your throat. It's going to lubricate the inside. So that warmness of just when you go to drink it, the steam from that warm water is going to go into your nose. Hopefully you warmed it up enough for it to do that. And it's going to lubricate not only just the body itself, but it's going to lubricate the sinuses as well. This is going to help tremendously with ear pressure. It's going to help with just this weird clogging buildup. Now, the beauty of water in itself is magnificent. I think water is very underrated. We tend to not give water advice because we assume water is the only way to live, and why give that advice when we know we should be drinking it anyways? But you'll be surprised how many people out there are not drinking enough water or drinking it the right way. There is a trick to drinking water the right way. The best way to drink water is when you first wake up. Start drinking water right out of bed. This is going to help equalize the pressure. This is going to help bring it down to a very manageable level. Before you grab the coffees, before you grab the tea, before you grab the milk, grab yourself either warm or lukewarm water and drink that down. Just drink it down. And I would say about 8 ounces. If you can get 8 ounces in within the first 5-10 minutes of waking up, you're going to see how over time the pressure is going to start going down, because you're doing the best thing. You're hydrating your body. You're balancing your pH levels. You're lubricating your sinuses. You're lubricating your inside of your body. It's going to start promoting good digestion. It's going to start helping balance the acidic levels. It's going to start making you feel just prepared for the day. It's going to give you that little burst of energy, but most importantly, it's going to help equalize the pressure. That's why we're here today. You'll be surprised doing the EAR maneuver, drinking warm to lukewarm water when you first wake up. And I would even advise you to do it for the rest of the day if possible. If not, it's okay. But when you first wake up, it's very imperative that you drink that lukewarm water to get things going. And secondly, this is more of an maybe at home thing. So if you're at work, I do not advise you to try this at work. But what you want to do is you want to try getting a neti pot. Neti pot is going to be very good. I did videos on neti pot. It's in my book as well. I talk about the neti pot. It depends on how you use a neti pot. What you want to do on this sense, I'm going to walk you through it here. You want to take the neti pot. I don't have it on me right now, but what I can do is I'll put it on the screen here. And you want to take the neti pot. You want to make sure it's well cleaned, well sanitized. So if you've used it already, you want to make sure to clean it out very well, get all the sodium, get all the little salt packets out of all the residue out of that neti pot. Because what we're going to do is we're going to clean it, wipe it down real good. We're going to put water in there. Now, here's the trick. Don't just take the water from the sink. Don't just take your neti pot and go straight to the sink, turn the water on. You don't want to possibly get some toxins in that water. You don't want to get some pollutants in that water. You want fresh, sustained, distilled water. Now, what you can do if you don't have access to a filter or somewhere where you can make sure your water is well filtered, you can boil the water for 10 minutes or so, maybe less, and let it cool off. Pour it in your neti pot, and from there, if you have a little bit of, usually the neti pots come with little sodium packs. And you can take those packs and you can pour it in there. I always advise, sometimes the sodium can be a little harsh on the nasal passages. It can be a little hard to move it around. It might sting the nose a little bit. What I always say is sometimes you can just flush out your nasal passages with just warm water, because we're not trying to get rid of any infection or anything. We're trying to equalize and drop that pressure. So you can just take warm water and do it, or you can use something. And I don't have it on me right now, but I will make sure to link it into the description. I'll put it into the comments as well. There's a solution base. Don't have it on me right now, but it's a great solution base. I've talked about it before. I will be sure I'll pop the picture up here. You want to put this into your water, and not too much. You want to just take a cat pull and put it in there. Swish it around, get it real switched around. Make sure the water's not too hot so it doesn't burn your nose. And then you want to flush with that solution. I'm not going to say the name because I'm probably going to butcher the name, but I've used it religiously. It's helped with pressure buildup. Even when the atmosphere pressure was starting to build up in the outside world, we're having some storms coming in, some wind changes. It helped me get through all of that, helped my balance, it helped me just stay grounded. These are going to be very phenomenal things that all of you should do. Remember, do these 3 things when you start to feel it coming on. The best is to do it when you first witness that you're starting to, the body has a great way of alerting you. So the body has a great alert system. So when you first start to get an inkling that, okay, I'm starting to feel a little heavy, little top heavy, get on these right away. Do the EAR maneuver. do the neti pot solution rinse, and please also make sure to hydrate with lukewarm water when you first wake up. And I promise you, by about lunchtime, you'll feel so much lighter above the neck, above the shoulders, that you'll be surprised it was so simple that you didn't do it before. So I hope this video was very helpful for you. If it was, please take time to subscribe to the channel. I try to bring content as often as possible. But in the meantime, I'm going to step out of the Jaywellness studio and leave you in good hands with this video. Like anything else, folks, we're here to simply go back to the basics. Take care, everybody.